All right, Edna, tell your story.
Well, one time I went to Glasgow with some girls and I met Dick, and just a bunch of us went out. And then he came to Wolf Point and I introduced him to Joann and they started dating. And that's when, I can't even tell you the year.
Excuse
Margaret,
me.
what?
Did you go out with him the first time you met him?
Well, there was a bunch of us went out together.
But he came back to Wolf Point to meet you?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, but then I had Joann with me, so that was the end of it.
that's true. She took him away.
Oh,
Okay.
So anyways, and then he introduced me to the guy I was going out with in Glasgow, Gordon. And then one story I got, we went out, of course, the four of us, we'd go out and park.
yeah,
And so Gordon and Dick got out of the car because they had to pee.
yeah.
And they were talking about peeing their initials in the snow.
Oh,
Yeah, so then Joann and I got out and tried to do our initials. Well, no, they said they were peeing our initials in the snow.
Oh.
So then Joann and I got out and tried to pee their initials in the snow. That didn't work with women.
yeah.
You had to hop.
Yeah, right, hop around.
How did you do the S?
That was hard.
You fell over in the snow.
Do you want to say how they got married?
Well, she was there then too.
Yeah,
She was there when they got pregnant too.
yeah. I was in another room with another guy.
Well,
You're not gonna, this is gonna be, what, X-rated?
It already is.
Remember, you should probably tell them how the reactions of your parents when they found out that Dick and Joann were expecting.
Well, yeah, then they knew that Dick and Joann were gonna have to get married, but Mom planned it. Two of my friends and I, Joann was going to Minot College,
Yeah,
and so we said we're gonna go to Minot and visit with Joann.
yeah,
And so we took off and drove over there, and we met Dick and the two guys that
Yeah.
Diane and I were going out with. So we all went over there, but anyways, Dick picked up Joann from the dorm,
yeah,
and we went to the doctor's, and I went in with Joann into the
Yeah.
doctor's. And when I come out, Joann just got in the front seat and started walling, and I climbed in the back seat. And Dick turned around, looked at me, and I said,
oh,
he says, I'm leaving. No, he didn't.
he didn't.
I've
But
never
we
heard
went
of that.
home, and Mom planned it all for us to elope, for them to elope.
Yeah,
So Dick and Gordon and a couple of the guys that Diane was going with, and Patsy, they all came down to Spokane, or
Yeah.
down to Wolf Point, and we were going to go to Helena, or go to get Joann. And
Yeah.
Mom says, do not. No, that was when we went to visit her, and we
Oh.
brought her home.
yeah,
And we went that first time when we found out she was pregnant, took her to the doctor.
Yeah.
We came back, but Mom had told us before we went, do not let her talk you into bringing her home. Well, guess what? She came home, and I know Gordon and I went in the house, and boy, I headed for the kitchen. Gordon was right behind me. I was standing because Dick and Joann came in and sat down on the couch. Looked at Mom and Dad was sitting there, and Dick says, I want to marry your daughter. And Dad says, you want to or you have to? And Dick says, well, I want to. And then, that was told to me afterwards. I wouldn't listen. So then Mom planned the wedding, but it was supposed to be she eloped.
yeah,
So a bunch of us girls and the guys from Glasgow came
Yeah.
down with Dick and us girls, and we were gonna go to Sydney. And it was just gonna go and, just have a day out. Well, we got to Sydney, and Joann and Dick, we went to the preacher or minister, whatever you call it, justice of the peace. And I couldn't stand up for Joann because it wasn't Catholic at that time. You know, she wasn't getting married in the Catholic Church, and I'm Catholic, so I couldn't stand up for her, but that
Yeah.
man did. And so we all sat there, or stood there while they got married. Afterwards, we all went to a restaurant to eat before we went home. And we were all sitting around the table, and us girls, we didn't get them a wedding gift. So we each swiped a cup off when we were, you know, drinking a glass or a cup. We just whatever we could get a hold of. And so when we got out in the car, we gave her each a piece of china for her wedding gift.